Hey everybody, today I'm going to be making fudge. Okay, it doesn't take a lot of ingredients, but you got to be careful with it. I have chocolate chips, pecans, evaporated milk, not condensed milk, evaporated milk, sugar, marshmallow cream, my TruClear, which I love. And this is the secret in a lot of my recipes. I do not use vanilla extract. It cooks off too quickly. This is paste. It's vanilla bean paste. It gives you a better flavor. I don't use extract for anything anymore. Now, I'm going to need this big pot because it makes a mess. And I have taken a quarter sheet pan and lined it with parchment paper so that it's easier to get out and cut, because if you butter the pan, then you scratch the pan when you try to cut stuff. So I'm going to get everything ready and I will be back and try and talk you through this, okay? This is me leaving to go to the store because I forgot to check the date on my milk and it's bad. So I will be back. Okay, now I have all my stuff ready. I've got 3 cups of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of low-fat or fat-free evaporated milk. Now, it seems funny to be using fat-free milk in something that's got so many calories in it. But if you use regular evaporated milk, it makes it a little bit too heavy. I've been making this fudge for 15 years, and I really prefer the fat-free milk. It makes it lighter. The recipe that I use calls for chocolate. I've been using chocolate chips for 15 years, so you use a regular 12-ounce bag of chocolate chips. It works fine. I put pecans in my fudge because I love it that way. And I have the jar open for the marshmallow cream, so I don't have to fight with that because it's a bugger to get open. And then I have the vanilla. So, in just a second here, I'm going to put my apron on and wash my hands, and we're going to get to work. In addition, I have my little TruClear syringe. I'm going to use half a syringe today. I'm not sure exactly how strong these are going to be, but we'll figure it out in a while. Half a syringe of TruClear Dogwalker, half a cc, in the glass. When the recipe gets appropriate, I'll turn on the hot water and thin this out so I can just add it in at the very end so that we don't do any chemical alteration on the TruClear itself. Some days I really shouldn't be let out in public. I forgot you need 3/4 a cup of butter, which is a stick and a half. It can be cold right from the fridge. You combine the butter, the sugar, and the evaporated milk in the pot. And the recipe says medium heat, so that's at about a 5. You have to stir this constantly until it boils. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, so I will be back when it's boiling and show you the next step. Now, one thing some people want to know is, do you have to really stir this the whole time you're waiting for it to boil? Well, no, you don't have to, but it's going to turn out bad. You need to stir it because heating it over a medium temperature without stirring it is going to possibly cause the milk to scald, or it can scorch the butter, and that will make your fudge taste like poo. If you want good tasting fudge, you follow the directions. At least until you've been doing it as long as I have, and you can fudge around a little bit. But even me, when I'm making this fudge, I stand here for the entire time, and I stir this baby until it comes to a boil, just like it says on the recipe. By the way, the recipe is right on the back of the marshmallow cream jar. That's one reason why I get the Kraft. The other reason I get the Kraft is because I don't like the taste of the other stuff. It tastes cheap, and if I'm going to spend good money on the TruClear concentrate, I'm going to spend good money on my ingredients. Now, this is going to start boiling soon. I want to explain something really quick. You continue to stir this until it's boiling, and while it's boiling, now it says to bring it to a full rolling boil. Now there are 3 kinds of boils. There's the soft boil, take the pot off, or you stir it and the boil goes away. Then there's a rolling boil. It can still be stirred down. If you stir it, the boiling will go away. What you're looking for here is a full rolling boil. That means that if you stir it, it doesn't make a difference. It's still going to be bubbling like heck. That's what we're aiming for, and you have to stir from the time you put this puppy on the heat until it reaches the desired temperature on the thermometer, or you use the shortcut that I'm going to tell you about. Now it says to bring it to 234 degrees. Well, my candy thermometer isn't digital, so I'm going to hit somewhere between 235 and 240. If you don't have a candy thermometer, once you get to the full rolling boil, you can just set your timer for 5 minutes, like I've done here, because I didn't realize there was a temperature thing on the jar. And you can just stir it for a full 5 minutes while it's in a full rolling boil. You'll get to approximately the same temperature. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm using a candy thermometer for this. So I'll be back in a minute when we get to the full rolling boil so you can see what it looks like. Another thing you're going to notice while you're cooking this stuff is that the texture changes in it. It changes to a different color. It gets a little bit foamy on the top. That's perfectly normal. Don't worry about it. See mine, it looks kind of like a Starbucks latte or something. But that's just because of the process that's happening while it's cooking. This is getting ready to start boiling a little bit. You don't have to aggressively stir it. You just got to make sure that it doesn't sit still, because you don't want to scorch that milk on the bottom of the pot, because you will ruin your fudge and it will not taste good, or you'll end up throwing it all away and starting over, and that can be expensive. But if you see, it's starting to boil a little bit, and we just keep stirring until it gets to a boil that cannot be rolled down or stirred down, and I will be back in a couple minutes with that. This is a rolling boil. It's not a full rolling boil, because you see, if I stir it, the bubbles move or they go away for a second. That's not a full rolling boil, but I just wanted to show you what a rolling boil looks like so that you know that's not a full rolling boil. I'll be back in a minute with the full one. Now we're getting to the full rolling boil stage. What I'm going to do is reach across here real quick and turn on my hot water in my TruClear, so that it can start to thin up while I'm getting the candy up to the right temperature. Now, this is almost a full rolling boil. See, if I stir it, it slows down just a little bit, but it doesn't stop and it doesn't go away. Now, the reason you need such a big pot is because this will foam up, it'll rise up, and if you're in a small pot, you're going to have a big fat mess to deal with. Now, once it gets to a full rolling boil in a minute or two, you can either turn your timer on for 5 minutes if you don't have a candy thermometer, or you can start checking it every couple minutes to see what the temperature is. Make sure, if you use a candy thermometer, not to touch the bottom of the pot, because if you do, you can crack the thermometer. Ask me. I know, because I just did it last week. Now see, this is pretty much a full rolling boil. I can't stir it down. It doesn't go away. It comes right back. It's almost like the spoon's not in the pot. So at this point, I would start the timer. Got the water going on the TruClear. Everything's ready. So now all I'm going to do is sit here and play with my thermometer and wait for it to get up to the right temperature. I will be back. It's almost at 235 degrees. I just wanted to show you how foamy it gets, and now I got to get back to the stirring. Okay, now if you can see, it's at 235 degrees. At this point, I'm going to take it off the stove. Take it off the stove. Set the thermometer aside, hopefully somewhere where you don't break it. Turn the heat off. And the water's still running with the TruClear, so now it's time for the fun part. Dump the chocolate chips in. Sorry about that, I know my look is awful. Now I'm going to scrape the jar with the marshmallow cream, and I can't hold the camera and do that at the same time, but I'll show you when it's done. This is what the marshmallow cream looks like when it's in the pot. Now, if you're like me and you don't like to waste anything, what I do is I put the stuff in there and I stir a little bit and get the spoon nice and hot, and I can get most of the marshmallow cream off the inside of the jar. If you look, it's pretty close to empty there. Now I'm going to dump a little vanilla in. And I don't know what the measurement says. I don't measure my vanilla. I just dump it in until it smells good. Then I stir. So I'll be back. This doesn't look very appetizing like this, but as you stir it, you're going to notice it's going to come out to be a little more uniform in color. We want to do as much of this as we can before we get the TruClear in. So I'm going to wait until these lumps of marshmallow are gone. Then I'm going to squeeze my TruClear in here. Now we have a nice chocolate color. It's still not quite done yet, but at this point I'm going to dump the pecans in. And here comes the TruClear. I'll show you how I get it in there and how thin it is when I take it out of the thing. Hang on a sec. Now we all know this stuff is wicked viscous, but it's been soaking for about 5-10 minutes in some nice hot water. And as you can see, it squeezes right out of the syringe and into the fudge mixture. And here it is, stirred. The TruClear is mixed in, the pecans are mixed in. The next thing I have to do is transfer it to the pan. This is a lot more forgiving than the candy lollipops and stuff because they have to go really fast. This cools down a lot slower. So you have a lot more time to play around with it if you need to. And here we have it. 3 pounds of fudge in a 1/4 sheet cake pan. Took about a half an hour to make. It's going to taste excellent. I can't wait. I'm going to take my dentures out before I play with the chocolate that's in the pot, though. I hope this encourages you to try to learn how to cook some of this stuff on your own. It's really not that hard. It tastes good, and it's kind of satisfying to make something that nobody else has made before. So, thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon, and please feel free to leave me feedback, or if you want to learn how to make something else, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Bye-bye.